printing out certain elements from lists. There are also other ways you can work with lists. These ways are accessed through things called methods. Now, these list methods are pre-written pieces of code that help you perform certain procedures on them. So, say for example, I decide that I don't only want the first 4 colors of the rainbow, I want the first 5. So, let's start by printing colors just to see where we're at right now. Obviously, it's only the first 4. Now, we can add things to our list after we've already declared them, just like we can reassign the values of variables because lists are mutable, just like variables are. And the way we can change a list, we can either add or subtract an element from one using something called a method that we just talked about. So the method to add onto a list is called list.append. So you write the list name, in this case it's colors, and then you write dot append. And inside this parentheses of append, you are going to write in the name of the element you want to tack on to the end of your list. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue is the one that comes next logically. So we're going to do colors.append blue. And if we print it, you'll be able to see that blue has been added onto the list. We can do the same with the rest of the colors too. So I'm just going to add colors.append indigo, and also colors.append purple. Let's print colors. And now you can see that we have a full rainbow using the append function. Now, what if we want to remove something from a list? So say I realize that I don't want to include indigo on my list anymore since it's basically just a darker version of blue. The way you do that is with list name dot remove. So this list name is obviously where the name of your list goes, so that's going to be colors right here. And inside this parentheses, you're actually going to add the name of the element you want to remove. So indigo, for example. I run it, and I print colors again. And now you can see that there's no more indigo on our list. But say we remove an element that is not already in our list. So let's change remove indigo to remove pink. In that case, we're going to get an error because the X that we're trying to remove from the list is not in the list. Alright, so that's a brief introduction to list methods. Now we're going to go over list traversing. Now, when we say list traversing, we usually mean to traverse a list with a loop. So obviously we learned about for loops last class, so for I in range. If we want to find out the length of the list, all we have to do is len, and then the list name, so colors. And then we can print colors index I. In that case, it's going to print out every element inside the colors list individually. Let's break this down a little. So remember that with a for loop, the number that goes inside the parentheses attached to range is how many times the loop will run. And the I variable right here It starts counting at 0 and it goes up to whatever the length of colors is minus 1. That lines up with the indexes of the list that we need to traverse. So when we print colors index I, that's going to print all the items inside the colors list. Now, that does look a little bit complicated, but there's still yet another easier way to go about traversing a list, and that is with a for color in colors loop. Now, for colors in colors defines this new variable as our loop variable. So instead of accessing each component by its index, like the for I in range loop did, this is actually just going to directly give you each element inside colors. So you don't have to do this you don't have to index colors every time. So if we just print color and give it a run, you'll see that we get the exact same result as this other loop that involves indexing and finding the length of colors. Now, this is a special loop that we use most often with lists, and it's really helpful because of how simple and easy to understand it is. But this loop is best for when you need to know the indexes of certain elements inside. All right, so that is a little more on lists.